right after this.
Are you tired of having the same boring breakfast every morning? Well, Monflake Oats is the healthy and perfect solution just for you. Make your breakfast exciting by adding Monflakes to your pancakes, parfait, or even milkshake. Monflake can be found in different sizes and available in granola, such as Caribbean or Hawaiian. Stop worrying about what to prepare for your breakfast, dessert, snack, or even dinner. Monflake is the best addition to your meal. Grab yourself a bag today. Locally distributed by Fine Foods Inc. and available island-wide. Since 1910, HHV Whitchurch and Company Limited has proudly served Dominica, offering a wide variety of products and services in shipping, logistics, insurance, travel, retail, and wholesale. We are committed to serve you. Contact us today at 767-255-1100 or visit us at our main office on Old Street, Roseau. From humble beginnings to proud achievements, HHV Whitchurch and Company Limited.
Petro Caribe. Tank installation is part of our mission. Excellent client support is what we got. Contribution to development of Dominica. Supply of LPG at an affordable rate. Let's go. Petro Caribe straight. No time to waste. So come on everyone with me to Petro Caribe. 250 gallon propane tank. 420 pound propane tank. 100 pound LPG cylinder. Petro Caribe. 20 pound fiberglass cylinder. Petro Caribe. Petro Caribe. Petro Caribe. Petro Caribe. Petro Caribe. Petro Caribe. Petro Caribe.
DBS News.
Well, good morning. Welcome to the DBS Morning News. First up this morning, a flood watch will remain in effect for Dominica until 12 this afternoon as Dominica continues to feel the indirect impacts of Tropical Storm Jerry. But unstable conditions associated with Jerry will continue to affect the island today. The Met Office says to expect increased cloudiness with showers and thunderstorms and strong gusty winds. People in areas prone to flooding, landslides and falling rocks are advised to remain on alert and to exercise extreme caution. People are also being urged to secure loose objects which could become missiles in strong winds and to look out for broken branches. Well, seas are expected to be moderate to rough with waves up to 7 feet along the west coast and up to 10 feet along the east coast. And that is scheduled to improve as the day progresses. However, there is a marine advisory issued today. Well, as of 5 o'clock this morning, the center of Tropical Storm Jerry was located near latitude 19.2 degrees north and longitude of 62.5 degrees west. That's approximately 275 miles north of Dominica. The center of Jerry is now passing to the north of the northern Leeward Islands, and Jerry is moving towards the northwest away from Dominica at about 70 miles per hour with maximum sustained winds of 50 miles per hour.
Meantime, DBS can report, or we're receiving reports that a number of communities are without electricity. At this point in time, there are also a few areas without water as a result of the ongoing situation, and Domlek and Dowasco will be working as soon as possible to rectify the situations. We've also received reports that our road crews are also working on clearing some debris in the Mitcham area, that's in the Granby area, and that we've been told that the rest of the road from Granby to Roseau is now accessible. There's also a roadblock in Gallia. There seems to be a huge tree which has fallen across the road in Gallia, so there are a few reports of landslides and also some flooded areas. Let's move on with the news this morning as St. Vincent and the Grenadines Prime Minister Dr. Rav Gonzalez says the economic recovery of Dominica should not be taken lightly. He told a lecture to commemorate the 25th anniversary of the passing of former Prime Minister Roosevelt Douglas last night that Dominica's recovery is special, having encountered numerous challenges over the years. Last night's memorial lecture at the State House Conference Center was organized by the Dominica Labour Party.
We lost so many leaders in Dominica. Bananas collapsed. Hurricane David, Hurricane Allen, Hurricane Maria, the global economic crisis. We are battered. COVID. occasional droughts, all the vagaries of climate change, the harshness of the external world. And through it all, we have survived and we have thrived. We have much to be thankful for. Much to be thankful for. A leader like Roosevelt Skerrit has helped to take us through that period in Dominica. Do not underestimate any of that. Do not get carried away by vanities. To be sure, we all have complaints. Dominica, look at the 2025 Human Development Index report by the United Nations Development Program. There are 4 categories. Very high human development, medium, and low. Dominica, which has been battered in the way in which I described it in many dimensions, is in the high category of human development.
And that's St. Vincent and the Grenadines Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves. Meantime, acting Prime Minister Fidel Grant has responded to criticisms that the Dominica Labour Party government has shifted from the vision of the late Rosie Douglas.
And his fight, his vision, is what brought this Dominica Labour Party into office after 20 years. 25 years later, we are standing on a foundation that he built. And I believe that every Labourite can be proud of the work that we have continued 25 years later. This work was continued by the late Pierre Charles and continued now with the Honourable Roosevelt Skerrit. It is often said that this Dominica Labour Party, this Labour Party cabinet, this new cabinet has shifted from the vision of the late Rosie Douglas. And this is far from the truth. Education has been a passion of the late Rosie Douglas. And this is evident in the policies of this current administration. And we saw this with the universal access to secondary school, the free tuition to the college, and the 1 graduate per household across Dominica. We all know that the late Rosie Douglas was passionate about housing. And at this time, I must recognize the efforts of Comrade Reggie Austrie for the work that he has done in housing. Ladies and gentlemen, it was this administration, building on the vision of the late Rosie Douglas, that offered squatters $1 a square foot. It was this administration who would offer 2% loans to public servants. It is this very administration who offered free housing to the people of Dominica. And just last week, we handed 21 homes in the Soufriere constituency. And that is building on the vision of the late Rosie Douglas.
And that's the acting Prime Minister Fidel Grant. Talk show host Matt Peltier, who spoke at last night's lecture, called on government to pass freedom of information legislation and for the introduction of a Rosie Douglas scholarship.
And I would, of course, ask the government of the day, the Dominica Labour Party, just in his memory, that they should establish, given his closeness to the press in his time, I have been in the media for over 30 years, I've never met another Prime Minister that was so close to the press. You had access to him 24/7. Doesn't matter what time you call, he might be in the bathroom, he'll tell you, hold on, and then he will return your call. Anytime, Monday to Sunday. Just to say that I would ask the government of Dominica to set up a scholarship in his honor. Every 3 years, so a young media person can get a scholarship in his honor. And the second request I would have is to pass a bill, a freedom of information bill, so we can have more access to information in Dominica. I think that is very, very necessary.
Talk show host Matt Peltier. In some more news this morning, Dominica joins the rest of the world to observe World Mental Health Day today. Dr. Nadia Wallace is consultant psychiatrist at the Acute Psychiatric Unit.
Natural disasters, traffic accidents, armed violence, health and humanitarian crises continue to disturb people's lives around the globe. Yet, despite the rubble, trauma and displacement, mental health treatment in the region remains one of the most ignored and underfunded aspects of emergency response. On this World Mental Health Day, October 10, 2025, we are called to reflect on the theme, Access to Service, Mental Health in Catastrophes and Emergencies. This year, the World Federation for Mental Health is emphasizing the critical need for readily available, culturally relevant, and long-term mental health care in the aftermath of disasters and emergencies. The 2025 campaign is calling on governments, non-governmental organizations, and health systems to prioritize mental health as one of the most essential components of disaster planning and recovery. Now, mental health issues in emergencies are not just restricted to post-traumatic stress disorder, as most people may think. Persons may also experience anxiety, depression, grief, substance abuse, and psychological distress, which is frequently exacerbated by the loss of residence, income, and community support.
And that's consultant psychiatrist at the Acute Psychiatric Unit, Dr. Nadia Wallace. And the ferry services to Dominica are set to resume this weekend as FRS Express des Îles has announced that travelers wishing to go to Guadeloupe can board the vessel destined for Portsmouth on Saturday. Well, the decision by FRS Express des Îles to halt services to Dominica was due to technical issues with the vessel. Hans Victor, the operations supervisor at Richard Shipping, says Express des Îles is now ready to receive passengers with regular services expected to officially begin on the 12th of October.
As we all know, we had a big number of one of our vessels for the last week and a half. I can report that the vessel has been repaired, and as a form of easing up the flow of passengers out of Dominica, we have decided to put in a vessel out of Portsmouth on Saturday, 11th of October, out of Cabritz. So the ferry will depart Cabritz at 10:45. We will commence checking in at Cabritz at 8:30. So passengers who wish to buy tickets to go to Guadeloupe on Saturday can do so at our offices, Whitchurch, also at Whitchurch Portsmouth, and at Network Trading in Portersville. After Saturday the 11th, our ferry services will resume to regular programming on Sunday the 12th of October, as we had previously suggested to the public. So on that note, I just want to reiterate that the vessel has been repaired. It was tested yesterday for call to Cabritz to do a crew change, because as you can understand, some of our crew members were stuck as well. Those were supposed to come home and those were supposed to embark for work. So that went well. The vessel was tested and everything seems to be A-OK. Sunday, October 12th, so that means the ferry will leave from Guadeloupe at 2 o'clock, arrive Dominica at 4:15 to sail at 4:45, and then head on to Martinique, then to St. Lucia. Then Monday comes back to the St. Lucia, Martinique, Dominica, Guadeloupe, and so on and so forth.
Operations Supervisor at Whitchurch Shipping, Hans Victor. Let's head into news from the region now, as Grenada's Ministry of Foreign Affairs has confirmed that the United States has made a request for the temporary installation of radar equipment and associated technical personnel at the Maurice Bishop International Airport. Grenada says that they are assessing and reviewing the request, and they are saying that any decision will be made only after all technical and legal assessments are completed. This development comes as military tensions in the Southern Caribbean communities, or Southern Caribbean, continues to mount as the United States is seeking to ramp up pressure on Venezuela in a new war against drug trafficking. And a ceasefire is due to come into force in Gaza after the Israeli government approved a deal with Hamas, which will also see the release of hostages. Israeli troops have begun to withdraw from parts of the Gaza. Under the agreement, Israel's military has 24 hours to withdraw to an agreed line. Hamas will then have 72 hours to release all Israeli hostages, while Israel will release hundreds of Palestinian detainees. Well, that's the news. Let's recap the headlines. A flood watch will remain in effect for Dominica until 12 this afternoon as the country continues to feel the indirect impacts of Tropical Storm Jerry. St. Vincent and the Grenadines Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves says the economic recovery of Dominica should not be taken lightly.
Grenada is reviewing a request from the United States to install radar equipment amid rising regional tensions. And Israel has begun withdrawing from parts of the Gaza after a ceasefire and hostage release deal has been approved. That's the news. Stay tuned for sports.
Yummy. Yummy. Looking for something sweet, chewy, delicious, or even crunchy? We've got you covered. Mars and Wrigley's products are the perfect pick for all your sweet tooth cravings. Available in M&M's, Twix, Milky Way, Snickers, Skittles, and even gummies. So next time your cravings are at an all-time high, choose Mars and Wrigley's.
Available at Fine Foods Inc. distribution or your favorite supermarket island-wide.
Since 1910, HHV Whitchurch and Company Limited has proudly served Dominica, offering a wide variety of products and services in shipping, logistics, insurance, travel, retail, and wholesale. We are committed to serve you. Contact us today at 767-255-1100 or visit us at our main office on Old Street, Roseau. From humble beginnings to proud achievements, HHV Whitchurch and Company Limited.
Petro Caribe. Tank installation is part of our mission. Excellent client support is what we got. Contribution to development of Dominica. Supply of LPG at an affordable rate. Let's go. Petro Caribe straight. No time to waste. So come on everyone with me to Petro Caribe. 250 gallon propane tank. 420 pound propane tank. 100 pound LPG cylinder. Petro Caribe. 20 pound fiberglass cylinder. Petro Caribe. Petro Caribe. Petro Caribe. Petro Caribe. Petro Caribe. Petro Caribe. Petro Caribe.
Covering the nation and beyond. DBS Sports Report.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, Portland and tile cement, steel rods, galvanized and fence pipe. And Rudolph Thomas can meet all your wire needs. Galvanized roofing sheets, doors, windows, toilet sets, face basins and bidets. PVC piping, fittings and lattice. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. And Rudolph Thomas is your one-stop shop for hard-to-find items like fiberglass mat and fiberglass resin and welding rods. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
K1 Creole Festival is almost here. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm going to every event and the festival itself.
What? But how are you managing it all?
Easy, with my NBD credit card. Every swipe is a chance to win. NBD. Celebrate 25 years of the World Creole Music Festival. 25 years, 25 big wins. Use your NBD credit card or sign up this festival season
for a chance to win exciting prizes. Shop, swipe, win!
Don't have a card yet? Sign up today and join the celebration.
Call 767-255-2337 or email credit@nbd.pm to get started. Hurry! Promotion ends November 5th, 2025. Terms and conditions apply.
Well, good morning. Welcome to the DBS Morning Sports Report. Let's bowl off with some cricket news. And it's not the best of news for the West Indies team as the second test underway. Well, stumps on day one. And of course, we can tell you that Yashavi Jaiswal, the Indian batsman, will be eyeing a double century tomorrow as India will be looking to ramp up the pressure on the West Indies in that second test match. Day one totally dominated by the Indians and stumps drawn just a few moments ago. India, they reached 318 for 2 at stumps on day one. Yashavi Jaiswal not out on 173. Sudar Hassan made 87. Jaiswal and Sudar Hassan shared a partnership of 168. And currently Shubman Gill is not out on 20. And he's sharing a partnership, unbeaten one with Jaiswal on 67. So that's the West Indies in a spot of bother here on day number 1. India 318 for 2. Jomel Warrican has the 2 wickets for the West Indies. He has figures of 2 for 60, but it's been a very tough day for the West Indian bowlers. We can tell you that the West Indies, they made 2 changes to the team for this morning with Tevin Imlach and Anderson Phillip in the lineup, replacing Brandon King and Johan Lane. So that's the situation. The first test, or second test, my apologies, day 1 of the second test between India and the West Indies. It's India 318 for 2 at stumps on day 1. Let's bring you some football news now, as Kalik Prevost registered a hat-trick as the Dominica Grammar School scored a 2-goal win over the Goodwill Secondary School as the Sports Division Secondary Schools Under 17 football tournament continued yesterday. Dominica Grammar School took that game 5-3 with Kalik Prevost getting a hat-trick. Dwight Walsh and Kaylan Flynn also scored a goal each for the Grammar School, while Jael Joseph got a brace and Jamia Lazar also scored 1 goal for the Goodwill Secondary School. The football action is expected to continue today with the St. Mary's Academy taking on the Portsmouth Secondary School, and that's in the under 15 division at the DFA Technical Center in Stock Farm. There's also a match between the Dominica State College A team and the Dominica State College B team at the DFA Technical Center, and that's in the under 20 division. Of course, these games are weather permitting, of course. Some more football news. The head coach of the Promex Harlem United football team, Richard Victorin, says he will have to give some thought into his future with the club. Harlem, one of the most, if not the most successful club in Dominica's football history, suffered a disappointing run this year. They finished in 6th place in the DFA Premier League, and they saw their campaign in the President's Cup end with a defeat to the Belfast Estate Maosuka Strikers. Victorin says he has struggled all season with getting the guys to come to training, and says he may call it a day.
No, well, next year, I have a little space time because I have to think of myself for next year too. Because I can't afford to come out and leave my work, leave money I can be making. Because I work in the cable car, I getting paid when I miss a day. So every day I do go work, I getting paid. While some of them working in certain areas where if they go, they can get paid. So next season, me have to ask the club a question. First, if things can change concerning training, I don't mind training and getting them results there. That it can be my fault. I can say, well, tactically, is the coach problem. But right now, for the whole season Harlem play there, I can't take responsibility for Harlem turnout. Because I never had a team to train. I never had a team tactically to say, hey, we can play like this or we can do this. So, yeah. So next season, if we can get the team to be committed to training, I don't think I'll be able to carry on.
And that's the coach of the Promex Harlem United football team, Richard Victorin. Meantime, the football action is scheduled to continue tonight, weather permitting, of course, and we're scheduled to have action in the DFA Division 1 quarterfinals. RC Doctors, they're down to face South City. That game is scheduled to get underway at 7 o'clock at the DFA Technical Center. Let's bring you some domino news, as another exciting round of dominoes is on the cards with the Julius Timothy Independence Domino League continuing this weekend. League coordinator Delvin Esprit has more.
Round 4 of the exciting Julius Timothy Islandwide Domino League will be played on Sunday with a number of big games. In action will be the unbeaten Brutal Forces from Grand Bay as they host Babdad from Grand 4 in Grand Bay. NATO Full Effects from Riviera Civic will travel to Pebbles to play Brigadier Stars, who are also undefeated to date. Ferguson Woodfordale will be in Woodfordale against Wake Up Stars from Portsmouth. BS Stars from Anzime, who so far having a fine season and yet to lose, will travel to Monwatchet to play West Coast Credit Union Jerry Adrian Valiants. Non-players from Cassibles will meet Massive Square from Pebbles in Cassibles. Roadblock from Tibo will travel to Portsmouth to play Roadside. White City from Grand 4 will be at home to Itassi Stars from Vickers. And Warriors from Maribor will travel to Mao to play Badside. Delvin Esprit reporting.
And we say thanks to Delvin Esprit for that report. And some news just coming in as the scheduled primary schools independence athletics preliminaries for today have been cancelled. Of course, they were scheduled to have action in Dubla and Granby this morning. And the sports division is reporting that the activities have been cancelled for today due to the inclement weather. and that new dates will be announced. We can also give you some results from some of the recent activities in terms of the athletics preliminaries, and 3 schools out of the 8 participating in the Northeast District Primary Schools preliminaries at Londonderry yesterday, and we had, of course, some very interesting results in that competition, with the Wesley Primary School winning the senior girls with 73 points. Will Strathmore Stevens came in second on 65. The junior girls, we had Will Strathmore Stevens winning that with 53 points. Wesley Primary finished on 46 and Woodford Hill Primary on 44. Overall, we had the Wesley Primary winning the girls division with 119 points. Will Strathmore Stevens second on 118. And in the boys overall, we had Will Strathmore Stevens on 116 and Wesley Primary School on 116 as well. So both schools were tied. And the schools advancing, of course, to the next round will be Wesley Primary with 235 points and the Will Strathmore Stevens Primary on 234. And then we had Woodford Hill Primary finishing third on 116 points. Of course, the athletics forming part of the independence activities. And we're expecting the secondary schools athletics competition a little later on this month, as well as the finals of the primary schools event. Let's go back to some cricket news, as the former West Indies batsman Brian Lara believes that Test cricket still holds an important place in world cricket. Lara says that more needs to be done to assist Test playing nations if the game is to remain viable. He says the big 3 of India, Australia and England need to provide some more resources.
When you look at, obviously, the big 3, you look at England versus Australia in the Ashes, or just recently India playing in Australia, India playing in England. And you would think that there is no greater day of cricket to watch. To me, I've been to Lord's, I just watched India versus England at Lord's, and there is nothing to compare with it. I hope that Test cricket does not die, but the viability of it in other nations, the smaller nations, the nations with the inability to bring huge crowds to the game or bring big sponsors to the game, you're really and truly testing their funds when you have to put on a 5-day test match and you have to do different things. So I would rather like to find a solution to the problem than to say, I give up and that's the end of it. The interest is low. I mean, if you're not doing well as a nation and something else is popping up that's more exciting, you can see it in the crowds. I mean, and not just in the West Indies. I mean, I appreciate the fact that my 17 years was spent playing majority Test cricket, and I would never give that up. Today's cricketer may think differently, but I wouldn't want to lose Test cricket where maybe 2 or 3 nations. I don't think it's ever going to stop because the Ashes is going to live on. India is now a force, and you listen to young Indian cricketers, they love playing the IPL, they love playing limited overs cricket, but all in the back of their mind, they want to go out there in their whites and play Test cricket for India.
And that's the former West Indies batsman, Brian Lara. So before we end the DBS Morning Sports Report, just a quick recap on the proceedings in the first day of the second Test match between India and the West Indies. A very good day for India, as they've reached 318 for 2. At stumps on day number 1, Jaiswal not out on 173. He's eyeing a double century tomorrow. And we have Jomel Warrican taking a 2 for 60 for the West Indies. It's been a disappointing day for the bowlers. And a quick reminder, in case you're just tuning in, that the West Central District at Granby and the Northwest District at Jubla, and of course that's the sports divisions, primary schools, athletics preliminary competitions. These 2 venues, there will be no action today. The event has been postponed due to the inclement weather. So the school student athletes, please take note that there will be no athletics competitions today in Jubla and in Granby. But that's the morning news and sports. More sporting highlights for you at 11 o'clock during the morning news update at 13, during the 13:15 news as well. Till then, I'm Gavin Richards saying good morning.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, Portland and tile cement, steel rods, galvanized and fenced pipe. And Rudolph Thomas can meet all your wire needs. Galvanized roofing sheets, doors, windows, toilet sets, face basins, and bidets. PVC piping, fittings, and lattice. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. And Rudolph Thomas is your one-stop shop for hard-to-find items like fiberglass mat and fiberglass resin and welding rods. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
K1 Creole Festival is almost here. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm going to every event and the festival itself.
What? But how are you managing it all?
Easy, with my NBD credit card. Every swipe is a chance to win. NBD. Celebrate 25 years of the World Creole Music Festival. 25 years, 25 big wins. Use your NBD credit card or sign up this festival season
for a chance to win exciting prizes. Shop, swipe, win!
Don't have a card yet? Sign up today and join the celebration.
Call 767-255-2337 or email credit@nbd.pm to get started. Hurry! Promotion ends November 5th, 2025.
Terms and conditions apply.
DBS News. Accurate, up-to-date, professional. We bring you the news of the nation via 3 newscasts, Monday to Saturday at 7 a.m. The DBS Major Morning News, 1:15 p.m. Your lunchtime news bulletin. And at 6 in the evening, the DBS Evening News. Call us at 448-4302. Listen on www.dbcradio.net. Don't forget to like our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/DBS Radio. Stay on top of the nation's news with your nation station, DBS. The time now, it's 7:33 here on your Nature Isle. The time made possible compliments the good folks of Do It Center. Do It Center. Elevate your home with Do It Center's color solutions from Do It Center Express. Check them out in the next 27 minutes.